welcome back to the shed. Today I'm going to do a video all about making music on Game Boys like this. I've done loads of videos making Game Boys, customizing Game Boys, modifying Game Boys. Part of that is to play the games on there and make the games look better and sound better. A big part of that, and a big part of what got me really into modding Game Boys, is making music on there. And I kind of gloss over that sometimes, and you'll hear the music played on my videos, and that's all stuff that I've made using this software called LSDJ, but I don't think I've really gone into much detail in terms of what it actually is. So on this video today, I'm not going to do a tutorial. There's loads of tutorials out there, and that's not really what this is about. This is for people who seen people either playing music on Game Boys or hear about the fact you can make music on Game Boys and want to know a little bit more about what that actually is. So I'm going to show you the software, explain it and break it down into little chunks so it makes some kind of sense. Hopefully it makes some kind of sense. Now the reason I'm doing that is that I am going to be taking part in an upcoming gig. Now I have played live shows in the past in venues before COVID. I was booked in to play a couple of gigs earlier this year around June, July, and yeah, that didn't come together because we couldn't play any gigs anywhere. So what my friend James, who goes by the name of Calm Down Kidder, has been doing is putting together some online shows that are streaming on Twitch. This time we're going to be doing a Halloween one, and I am actually on the lineup, so we'll see how that goes. While I'm putting together my set, which is going to be streaming on Halloween evening, hopefully I'll get this video out before the show, so I'll leave a link to his Twitch channel and you can tune in and have a watch of that on Halloween. But what I thought I would do is put together a few videos to look at what LSDJ is, how we make the music on the Game Boys, show you my setup for doing the streaming gig, record it all, and then just see how that goes, because I have no idea how that's going to go. I'm pretty excited though, because the Halloween show is all covers, so it's different amazing chiptune artists and me, and all of mine are going to be Green Day. So I've written 7 different Green Day songs that I'll be performing in this video here. I'll show you how I piece a song together and how it actually works in that software, so let's have a look. This is the show in question. It's Chipfest Cyberspace Halloween edition. It's on Saturday 31st of October 2020 at 7 PM. That's UK time. I'm not sure what those times are around the world, but I'm sure you'll be able to work it out. It's a pretty awesome list of people, including me. There's a spooky set from Oxygen Fad. There's Sice playing as France Gall, Men of Mega doing a set of Napalm Dead songs, Circuit Bird with a set of covers, and Business Pastel doing Carly Rae Jepsen. So that is going to be an absolutely amazing night, and I really hope I can rise to the occasion, because I am in very, very good company there. Some absolutely amazing acts. Right, let's take a look at this software then. Okay, so the music that I make on a Game Boy is known as chiptune music. Now if you try and get into the specifics of what chiptune is with anybody who's interested in it, you'll get all sorts of different viewpoints and it'll usually start a bit of an argument. Basically what you're doing is you are harnessing the sound chip of old hardware like Nintendo Game Boys, Commodore 64, and by accessing that sound chip you can program your own sounds and then sequence your own songs. And that's what I do with this software known as LSDJ, or Little Sound DJ to give it its full name. You can download the software online. Don't pirate it, because it's awesome and it's still being regularly supported, and it's like $5 for the license or something like that. So if you fancy trying it, buy the license and then get an emulator like BGB on Windows. It's pretty good for it, and just try it out. So if you want to try it, you can try it for as little as $5. But if you want to use it properly, you'll need to use it with a Game Boy, and you'll need a cart. Now the cartridge, like a flash cart like this, or the newer kind of EverDrive type cartridges, or if you're lucky you can get hold of one of these Drag and Derp cartridges. Basically what they do is they have a USB slot on them, and you can connect them up to your computer with a cable and flash the software onto them, or back up your save files, because you spend a lot of time working on these and you don't want to lose your progress. So it goes in the back there. We flip the switch and it comes on. Now I've connected this up to my speaker so you can hear it. So when it loads up, if it's the first time you've ever used it, you'll see a load of blank space. It'll look like that. Okay, and what you're doing is you're filling in all these little blocks with information. So when you've written a song, it looks like this, and if to the uninitiated, it'll just like a whole load of numbers and letters, which it is, but they all represent different things that you're building up. Now you've got these 4 columns here. Now they are the 4 channels of sound that the Game Boy can deliver. So you've got 2 what's called pulse channels, and you've got a wave channel, and you've got a noise channel. So the noise is like your sort of just like kind of white noise really that you can make into drums. And you've got your WAV channel, which is very good for your bass. You can have samples on there. It's good for the kick drums, the sort of lower sounds. And your 2 pulse channels are your standard kind of bleepy bloopy sounds that are associated with the Game Boy. Now in there you've got your main song screen. Down here you've got your kind of navigation, so the S is for on the song, and then you can go into, like, you sort of chain together different sequences, and those sequences are called phrases. So what I'm doing to navigate through here, the select button's like a shift key. So if I want to navigate through there, I hold select and I move my D-pad. If I use my D-pad without the shift key, it just navigates around the song screen, or it navigates up and down the chains that I've set up, or around the phrase, and so on. Right, so if I come out of there and go into a bit of the song, now this is a cover, because I'm doing a Green Day set, this is a cover of American Idiot, so if I just play a little bit there. So you can see while I'm playing that, it kind of cycles its way through those different chains that I'd set up. So if we look at that whole chunk there, okay, is chain 0B. Now this is a hexadecimal system, so it's basically you've got 16 digits that can be represented there, but we don't need to worry about that really at the moment. So each of these different phrases is made up of separate notes like that, okay, and you can sequence those. Now those notes are done with instruments, and the instrument channel, you can kind of design and sequence your own instruments. So that's basically like your program inside of it, and you can create a whole bank of different instruments to make different sounds in different channels. You choose what note you want those to play at, like that. Now that's just all the same note there, but in terms of how I've organised it there, at that particular tempo, you can choose what tempo it plays at. So that's set to 184. Now in that whole section there, in that little block there, it's just this note repeated. But in the chain, because I've created that one, and that one, and that one, now those 4 I've linked together into a chain, so that chain is there as 0B on the main song screen there. So as I press play through all 4 of those, and then on that same row, in the pulse channel 1, I've got the, I think like the vocal pattern. That one section, that one phrase, each one of those is made up of 4, so that it flows through at the same time. And the noise channel is slightly different, because that's just like your unfiltered sort of psst, white noise, but you can create instruments to make it sound like a hi-hat or a snare, or I think I've got like an open hi-hat somewhere. So that just kind of in a sequence goes. And then if you arrange that in a 4, you've got. So if you've got that and your melody, then that's going to all come together, and you've also got your bass. Now this is where the trick comes in, because you've only got these 4 channels, and the WAV channel is the one that's capable of doing a kick drum, which is like that, but also your bassier notes like that. So the trick is you've got to try and get your bass line and your kick drum in the same channel, which it kind of works when you've got the rest of the melody with it. Ideally you'd have a channel for each, but you kind of work around these things. That's kind of the appeal of it really. You've got these restrictions. So this is quite a lazy one really. I didn't do a very complicated drum beat for it, because I was writing 7 songs and it was taking a lot of time, and I quite like doing these like that. It sounded quite fun. It put a different spin on it. So when you've got that, and you've got that, and you've got that, and you've also got that, all playing at the same time, goes. and it's really, really satisfying. The thing that always amazed me about this is that the controls and all the writing and everything is done just with your standard Game Boy controls. I always thought it'd maybe like link up to a computer and then you'd program it all, but you do everything in there. There's all these hotkeys. A and B are like your different controls for actually doing things and manipulating notes, and you can move and copy and paste and change. The D-pad is for navigating and then also swapping between your different menus by holding your select key, which is like your shift key, and the start button basically starts and stops your song, so you can start it right from the beginning and stop it, or you can go to wherever you want in the song and just pick the same bit. So you can navigate your way through, and that's the same on the different sections as well. You can just play on those. So it's a workflow that takes a little bit of getting used to, but you kind of like, you're not even thinking about what your thumbs are doing after a while because you're just moving in this area, and this is why this is so good for it. You need that kind of setup. So the Game Boy Advance SP is pretty good for it, Game Boy Color, but it's designed so that your thumbs are moving like this all the time, and it works really well. I know it's kind of complicated. There is a bit of a steep learning curve to it, but it's really, really good fun, and it's cheap and accessible, especially if you're just having a go at it on an emulator. You don't need a heavily modified Game Boy for it. You can play it on just a regular Game Boy. The improved screen just makes it easier to see, and the improved sound, if you like recording or performing live like I'm going to be doing, the improved sound is worthwhile, but it will work perfectly well on a completely stock Game Boy. If your songs start to get quite complicated, you might need to use a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance, just because the processors are more capable. But the DMG, this one here, I really like because of the bass. The bass sounds really, really good out of it. So yeah, that's like a basic rundown of it, and I think I've probably overcomplicated it completely, but I just wanted to get across the idea of how I actually make the music. So I create the instrument, I choose the sound and the note, I put that into a phrase. That phrase then gets linked together with other phrases in a chain, and then we play all 4 of those at the same time to get the whole song. And that's it. There's probably a follow-up video due from all the things that I forgot and I missed out. But if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, and I might do more if there's a demand for it. So there you go, making music on a Game Boy, completely overcomplicated by me. Honestly, give it a try. It's really accessible, it's really good fun, and it's super satisfying. You can get some really cool sounds out of just, you know, decades old hardware being used now to make brand new music. I think that's pretty cool. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already, and you can see more of this nonsense. And yeah, if you want to know any more and I can do a follow-up video, then just leave that in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Thanks very much. Bye bye.